Good evening, friends, and welcome back to Apron Strings. Welcome to all the new subscribers and the ones of you that have been emailing and contacting me. Thank you for caring and for checking on me. Y'all, I'm trying, but evidently I'm taking 2 steps forward and 1 back, or 1 forward and 2 back, because I'm not getting back in my saddle and riding very consistently, but I'm trying. But I'm excited today because I've got a recipe. I made one similar one time, but this one's a little bit different. And it's just kind of fancy chicken because of the ingredients. And you can serve it over noodles or rice. I think you can shred the chicken and you could actually make like tacos with it. But today we're going to serve it over probably angel hair pasta. My daughter and her kiddos are going to eat supper with me, so I love it when I have somebody to eat the food I cook. So I told her about making it yesterday, and she said, "Mama, if you'll wait till tomorrow, we'll come early for church and we can help you eat it." I said, "Oh, good." So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have supper together today. Then we'll go to our Bible study. Everybody used to call it Bible study. Church is on Thursday night instead of Wednesday night. So we're going to make our kind of fancy chicken. And the first thing we have to do is, and I'm doubling the recipe, so when you see the recipe card, of course it'll be half as much. But we're going to take a half of a cup of butter, a stick of butter, because we're going to melt it. And we need 8 ounces of cream cheese, which you would use half of that. And I don't know why they make recipes like that, because then you got that other half that you got to do something with. So that's another reason for doubling it. Y'all, we have had so much rain. The school where I subbed last year, they didn't even have school today because Lake Livingston has opened the dam, and I guess they're afraid of flooding, or streets will flood or something, because I don't live right there in that area. But yeah, it's a mess up there. It's a mess everywhere. You need some golden mushroom soup. Now, I always use cream of mushroom soup, but this one calls for golden mushroom soup. So that's what we're using, and boy, does it look pretty. Y'all put that in any of your casseroles or anything? I've really never used it much. I think I put it in a roast one time, and it was yummy, but I don't hardly remember for sure. Y'all, they've still not finished everything on my house, and part of that's my fault. Most of it's my fault, because there keeps being 1 or 2 more little somethings I want done. For instance, I got a mailbox at a resale, a new mailbox, a bigger mailbox, because my mail people will poke whatever they can in the mailbox. It don't matter how full it is. Anyway, I wanted it up, and Troy never got around to putting it up, so I told him I bought that post, that funny looking wooden post that you put them on, but I don't know where it's at. So I'm going to have them put my mailbox up, and I've got a couple of gates for my chicken pen, that the wood and everything's here. Little Richard just never has gotten around to getting them done. He has to do everything for me and his mom. So anyway, I'm still in the process of getting all this stuff finished, and I'll be glad when it's finished. But anyhow, that's what goes. And this rain this week has put the stop to everything. So okay, I've got butter, cream of golden mushroom soup, 2 packages of the dry Italian dressing. I got the good seasons, and that's what you're wanting when it says the dry Italian seasoning. And then you want a 1/2 cup of dry white wine, so I'm putting a cup. Now, so I'm going to cook with this, I'm going to cook this just like the recipe says, and we're going to have us a good meal here in a little while. And what you do, you put this on the stove, kind of on low, till everything melts together. Then you just put your raw chicken in your pan and pour this over it. And it's the original recipe was to cook it in the crock pot. An easy, good meal for when you get home from work or whatever. But I want it done quicker, so I'm going to cook it about an hour at 350 in the oven, and we'll see. We'll use our thermometer and see if everything's done. But I'm just going to put this on the stove and let that melt. When it all gets melted, I'll bring y'all back and we'll put it all together and get it in the oven. Y'all, I took my, this is Pampered Chef, but it's one of those clay bakers. And I've got 5 chicken breasts, and I just cut them in half, some of them long ways, and then quartered them like 4 pieces, and some of them just in half if they were smaller. But there will be 5 of us eating, and so everybody would need a whole chicken breast, so I just cut it in pieces. Now I've got the, all of the stuff over here is melted really good. There's still a little bitty pieces of cream cheese, but it'll melt in the oven when I'm cooking. Got my oven preheated to 350. And I didn't salt or pepper the meat because this is very salty with those 2 cans of that soup in it. So I'm just going to pour this over the chicken, and I did add 1 minced garlic clove that won't be on the recipe and a tablespoon of onion powder. Can y'all believe that? I did it. So I'm just going to pour my broth or my juice or my whatever you want to call it that makes it kind of fancy. Over the chicken. I like these pots because even if something sticks and nothing's stuck in them this time, you can just almost wipe it out with a paper towel. They're so easy to clean. They're Pampered Chef too. And I'm just going to move this around so this juice will be, my chicken will be submerged in it. Okay, get under that juice. If you talk to it, it'll mind you. Let me put this over here in the sink. You can't see anything but the sauce, but got a pretty full little thingy. Now if you do it in the crock pot, you would do it probably 4 to 5 hours, I think, on high. I don't use the crock pot a lot. I'll have to see what the recipe said. But most stuff that calls for a crock pot, I put it in my oven because a crock pot was great when I was going to be away from home. And I wanted, or used to when Troy and I first married, he got home every day at 4:30. And so I had supper ready when he got in. Well, I could put something in a roast in the crock pot that morning and I didn't have to worry all day with a meal. So younger, raising kids, going to school, picking them up, all that, I did use my crock pot more. But now I got more time than anything else, so I'll just use the oven. Let me get my lid. And I did spray it with Pam, my kitchen spray, and I sprayed my dish with it too because I didn't want it to stick. I want it to be easy to wash. So I'm going to get it in the oven, 350, probably an hour, and then I'll come back and show y'all and we'll cook the pasta. April said, Mom, I'm hungry. So I'm going to get it done ASAP and feed my baby and her babies. I should say our babies. Her babies are my babies too, and she my baby. You never get too old to be your mama's baby. Remember that. Okay, let's get this cooking where we can have something to eat, and I'll have somebody to sit in and eat with me. That's fun. Troy and I, even after the kids left and it was just me and Troy, we sat down together for meals. And I don't like sitting down by myself eating. It makes me not want to eat. I don't look like I'm not eating, do I? No, I'm still eating. But it's a lot more fun when you have somebody to talk to and visit with while you're eating. So I'm going to get this in the oven, and I'll be back in just a little bit and show y'all what it looks like, and we'll cook the pasta. My chicken don't like but about 15 more minutes, so I went out there and took a vote. I said, do y'all want angel hair pasta, or linguine, or regular egg noodles? Or do you want to shred your chicken and put some of the sauce on it and some coleslaw mix, kind of like a fish taco, and roll it up in a flour tortilla? Well, they chose the angel hair, and I'm so glad. So I'm getting ready to cook some angel hair pasta, and then we'll be ready to plate it up and sit down and eat as soon as it gets done and the pasta gets done. I was just giving y'all an update on what I'm doing. I know with y'all, you're just watching. But with me, there's a space in between, and I feel like y'all need to know what I'm doing. Y'all, that rain has got my backyard. It was already a mess. And you know, we had those freezing temperatures, was it last week, the week before? And everything is dead and yucky, but I broke me some branches off of my, or snipped them off of my African blue basil, and I've got roots coming on them. So for too long, I'll be potting them where come spring, I'll have African blue with a jump start instead of having to buy little plants. You can't plant that from seed. It has to come from cuttings. And so last year I did this, and I had my own, and I was so glad. And so this year I'll have my own. And of course I got the itch to get out there and plant it. Now there's a guy down our road that builds fences, and I'm thinking about getting a quote from him. You know, we had a garden right out across the front yard here, but the deer started getting in it. So I'm thinking I'm going to see what he would charge to fence it with a like 8 or 10 foot fence that the deer won't jump in, and I can go ahead and plant peas and green beans and stuff out there, because my supply is getting low and I need to plant them. And I'd rather not plant them in those raised beds in the back. Something about it, I just like a long row that I can go down through there and pick me some vegetables. So I'm going to talk to him and see what it would cost me to get that fenced, and then I can have my garden and not have to worry about the deer getting it. We had some land over off of State Highway 242. I sold it since Troy passed away. But we had about 2 acres of purple hulls and green beans, and like we were going the next day to pick. They were ready to pick. And we got over there, them stinking deer had come in during the night before, and ate every one of them. We didn't get any. So deer are not my favorite friend unless they're in the skillet being fried to eat, or in there in sausage, or ground up for chili or something. But I don't like them in my garden. They're beautiful to watch. And if I didn't garden, I'd probably feed them just to get to watch them. But I need my vegetables. So I'll let y'all know what I decide on that. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to fence it where I won't have to worry about the deer. And I could plant them in my raised beds, but you don't. In other words, I like to go out and pick enough to do a canning. I don't like to have to collect them for several days and then have enough to can. So that little garden will raise everything I need if I can just get it where it'll be protected. I'll probably put tomatoes out there too. That's what we usually do. So we'll see what I decide to plant where, and if I decide to put a fence out there. All right, I'll be back in a minute with some angel hair pasta and some almost fancy chicken. Get my pasta in, and this is just angel hair pasta that I bought at Sam's Club. And I've told you before I didn't know this, but I read it so that I shared with y'all, but maybe some of you didn't watch that video. When you're cooking your pasta, a lot of people will say to put you some butter or some olive oil in there where it won't stick together. That olive oil coats each piece of the pasta, and when you put it in your marinara sauce or your Alfredo or whatever, the sauce won't stick to it because the oil has it oily and slick. So don't do that. You can salt your water a little bit, which I'm going to do that, but you don't want to oil your pasta. Now you Italians, tell me if that's right. My favorite Italian, tell me if that's right. And I like to break it, because everybody at my house don't like taking time to twirl it around the spoon. I got a friend that would take a piece of pasta to light the fireplace he'd light the end of it, and by the time it got down to where it was going to burn his fingers, the fireplace would be, you know, it would be lit. I'm going to go ahead and do this whole package because what's left, I can put something on it tomorrow. So this is a 1 pound package. They're usually 12 ounces. Okay, I'm going to cook that for, I think, 7 minutes al dente because I don't want it mushy, but I don't like it crunchy. So I'll bring y'all back in a minute, show you how done I got it, and we'll get the chicken out and I'll feed my babies. That's telling me that this cooked for an hour. I just got it out. Oh yeah, chicken's done. So I'm going to put the lid back on it till I get the pasta done, and then we'll plate some up. How's that? Okay, y'all, here's that kind of fancy chicken. There's my pasta, and I'm fixing to plate it up and show y'all what it looks like, and we gonna eat. Okay, folks, here's what it looks like all plated up. We're fixing to sit down and eat. Well, thank y'all so much for watching today, and I hope you make this. All of us liked it. That sauce on that chicken is delicious. Now, for my preference, probably next time I'll use boneless thighs because I like the texture of the meat better than the white meat. But boy, it sure is good. We put it on that angel hair pasta, and I made sourdough bread a couple of days ago, so I sliced it and made us some garlic bread to go with it. I mean, we had a ton of carbs, carb overload, but it was good. So if y'all try it, let me know. If you could use that, you could mix that sauce up and put it on whatever, but it sure was good. And I'm going to tell y'all again, I'm going to try to be back in a day or two, but I said that 2 weeks ago, and here I am. More than 2 days, wasn't it? I'm trying to get back in the saddle and ride and do a good race, but I just hadn't done it yet, but I'm working on it. And it won't be long, they'll be through with everything here, and I'm going to do a house tour. I've never let y'all see my whole house. You've seen the kitchen, and I think you've seen one of my bedrooms that has the chicken stuff in it. I'm just going to go ahead and do a full tour and show you outside and my patio and all as soon as everything's all finished. And I think they probably like 2 or 3 more days and it should all be done because they work here a while, there a while, over yonder a while, back here a while, then they get rained out and then they come back and then I add 5 more things to it. So if I'll quit adding, they'll get finished. Anyhow, I'll see y'all again shortly. I hope that you share my video on your social media. That'll help me reach people that I can't reach. And my channel's growing and I'm making a little bit of money even as AWOL as I've been. The Lord has blessed me and I'm very thankful, and I'm very thankful that He's used y'all to do it. Thank you for watching the old videos and keeping things going. And I really am trying to, I've got me a little stack of stuff that I want to cook. And it's fun when somebody's here to eat it and it's not wasted. Now, if April and them hadn't have been coming, I'd have just done a one-time the recipe today, but I doubled it and we have plenty left, but little Richard hadn't come eat yet, so maybe it'll about all be gone. Anyway, I will see y'all again soon. And I'm going to tell y'all something. That stuff at the grocery store is getting higher and higher and higher. So if you can afford today's high price, it's still going to be less than a week after next's higher price. So get the things that you use and make sure you've got some on hand. Might not can afford them in a few days. Anyway, I'm fixing to go. I've got a bunch of extra pasta that I had gotten. You know, you get those boxes at Sam's. It's got 6 or 8 or 10 packages in it. And I told April I want her to take some of it and use, and then I'll replace it with some newer because I don't want it to get old just because I have it in my stash. So I'm going to go out there and plunder around in that room that I have where my stuff is and see what I can find. The good Lord bless y'all, and I'll be back in a day or 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 or 12.